If you're over 40 and you feel like you know what you should be doing for your health, but you're feeling overwhelmed or stuck, this video is for you. Okay, I spent years and years in the fitness industry, talked to a lot of women, and I know that sometimes there's just too much information, right? There's too many things. It's like we can't do all the things at once. And that's what I'm talking about today. So keep listening if that's you. Many women over 40 feel like they know what to do, but they can't stay consistent. This is not due to a lack of motivation. It's actually due to overwhelm. Sometimes we just have too much coming at us. There's too much information and you don't even know where to start. Health after 40 and fitness after 40 does not work the same way it used to work. What worked in our 20s and 30s does not work once we get over 40, over 50. There's several reasons for that. First of all, we have hormonal shifts, hormonal changes. Also, just things are working differently in our body. It takes longer to recover, so you have to factor that into your exercise and your workout plan. Recovery is important before this anyway, and then factor in aging and the body needing extra time to get over what you've been doing for your workout program or for your health. And you definitely have to put in that extra time. Another thing that happens is that energy, it just fluctuates more. Okay, again, part of it's hormonal. The hormones cause things to go all over the place. Our energy can be up 1 minute, down the next, even with caffeine, even with stimulants, things like that. It's still going to be up and down, up and down. So we have to work around that. And then what happens a lot of times is we try to do more. Like we try to do literally everything. Like I'm going to change the way I eat. I'm going to exercise this much every single day. I'm not going to have any sugar. I'm going to cut out this or that TV show. We try to do it all at once. And a lot of times when we do that, that just completely backfires. Another thing that happens is some people have a tendency to get into an all or nothing. They're kind of like, I'm going to do all of it or nothing at all. Like I'm going to do all the things that I just mentioned, or I'm just not even going to bother starting. And that is a mistake. We definitely don't want to do that. Something is better than nothing. I talk about this all the time when it comes to fitness. Some movement is better than no movement at all. And then another thing that I see a lot of women do is they're just like, I'm going to start Monday. I'm going to start the first of the month, whatever it is. And they just keep putting it off. And if they don't get it exactly right, they just throw the whole thing out and they're like, you know what? I'm just going to start again next week. We have to get to where we can start at any point. You don't have to wait till the beginning of the week, the beginning of a month, whatever, to make changes. And we also want to understand that we don't need to make all the changes at once. Just one or two things at a time is going to be plenty. Another thing that happens, and I know this is the case for me, sometimes we feel guilty when life gets in the way. When, we can't get the things done that we want to get done. We've planned to do, like I said, we're going to eat keto. We're going to get in exercise 6 times a week. We're going to do our stretching routine. And then it doesn't happen because of life. And then we feel guilty and we feel downtrodden. We have to be more forgiving of ourselves as we get older. Life is just doing what it does. It's being life. And here's the other part of it too, is that life is for living. And so on one hand, while it's important to have discipline and structure and, have goals that you set for yourself to be more healthy, you also have to be forgiving of yourself and understanding that life just happens. And sometimes you need to enjoy life. You need to enjoy whatever is going on. And so you have to make some allowances for that. So here's some things that can help. Consistency over intensity. Okay, when I was younger, 20s, 30s, it was all about the intensity of the workout. How many calories could I burn? How long could I go? How long could I keep myself in that zone? How hard could I make myself sweat? That is not what works anymore. It's more about consistency. Let's do a little bit every day, okay? Let's knock this out and that out, get in the walk, get in the resistance training 3 times a week, whatever the case may be. The walking's super important too. It's more about consistency than intensity. Also, we have to think about it this way. Think of it as supporting your body instead of punishing it. So instead of beating it into submission and working out so hard that you can barely move the next day, we have to look at it as supporting our body. Okay, we're going to support our flexibility. We're going to support our cardiovascular health. We're going to support our bone density, all of those things. It's all about support and not punishment. Remember, simple habits repeated daily are what's going to lead to success. So we're going to habit stack. Okay, we're going to habit stack. We're going to take one habit that we do every day, we're going to add another little habit to it, and we're going to create a series of simple habits that are going to lead to success. Momentum matters more than perfection. So those habits are going to cause us to get into a rhythm. That's going to give us some momentum. The momentum is what matters more than perfection. So a lot of people too will just be like, I'm not going to even start because I can't do XYZ. That is not the way to look at it. Something is better than nothing. What we want to do is we want to take those somethings and we want to create a habit and get some momentum going. So that way we are moving in a positive direction. So talking about a reset. So it's the beginning of the year and a lot of people want to, just completely overhaul everything. I'm going to propose that we take a reset. So what a reset does not mean is it does not mean a detox. It doesn't mean a cleanse. It doesn't mean cutting everything out, and it also does not mean a strict diet. So what a reset really is we're going to pause. We're going to take stock of everything. We're going to look at how we're feeling, how we're doing. We're going to simplify things down. And then we're going to build some consistent daily habits that are achievable. And because they're achievable, you're going to feel a sense of success, which is super important to keep you going. So remember, this is a chance to reconnect with your body, to reconnect with how you think, because we're also thinking about our thoughts, we're thinking about our mindset, we're thinking about our body in multiple areas. And it's a chance to look at what you've been doing, really take stock of how everything that you're doing affects your mindset. How does it affect how you feel and think about yourself? We're going to take a small, short window of about 7 days to do this reset, to really take stock, be mindful, and come up with a simple plan to restore and reset everything. We're going to take a short time period to rebuild confidence by implementing small habits and being aware of how we feel about everything. That's going to lead to some momentum, and that's what's going to lead to you feeling better about the direction that you're going. This is how I came up with the 7-day strong reset program for women. Okay. I figured, I talked to a lot of women over the years and they always want a solid plan, which I'm in favor of. But sometimes before that, we just have to stop and pause and take everything in. And sometimes we're so busy trying to find something new that we're not looking at what we've been doing. And that's where I think it's important to pause and reflect and kind of take stock of where you are. How do things make you feel? How does it feel when you get in the exercise every day? How does it feel when you're consuming too much sugar or too much processed foods? It's really important that we take time to take stock of everything and really be mindful of how we feel and what we're doing. So the 7-day reset is actually designed to reduce overwhelm. We don't want to get overwhelmed. It's just a week, okay? It's just a week. It's a way to kind of cleanse everything, not get overwhelmed, and get yourself set up for a reset. So we're not completely starting over. We're just kind of like rebooting the computer. You know how sometimes if the computer isn't working just right, you have to reboot it and then all of a sudden that fixes it? Look at the 7-day reset the same way. So I want you to focus on daily structure and the tips that are given every day and not rules. We're not looking at rules. We're not looking at restrictions. We're looking at positive things every single day, little tiny steps, tiny habits that you can implement that make a big difference. This is going to help you to stop overthinking and start moving forward. So I'll tell you what the reset is not. It is not a diet. It is not a workout plan. It's not a meal plan, and it's not an all or nothing challenge. And the 7-day strong reset is for women over 40 who feel stuck. You feel overwhelmed. It's for women who want clarity and some momentum. You need to get some momentum going again so you can get this year off to a good start. It's also really good for women who are tired of starting over, because that's what we tend to do at the beginning of the year. We start over, right? And we're not necessarily starting over. That implies that we're throwing everything out and doing all new things. And we don't want to do that. That's what can get overwhelming. So if this resonates with you and you'd like to simplify and reduce the overwhelm, I'm going to link the 7-day reset for you below so you can check it out. But even if you don't join, remember something. You're not broken. You're not a failure. Okay? And you're not alone. This is something that a lot of people struggle with. Once you reach a certain age, you have to approach things a little bit differently. So that's what you're looking at here if you were over 40. Small, consistent changes really add up. You want to celebrate the wins, be more mindful, and be forgiving of yourself while also setting standards and achievable goals that are going to benefit your health and your wellness overall. If this has provided value for you, I hope you'll give me a thumbs up on the video, consider subscribing, and I'm going to be putting out more content relating to women over 40, women over 50, women in midlife who are, trying to figure out how to navigate this season, because I'm right there with you. I've been there.